Hello and welcome to Pixel Sports Presents GoalTable Football Podcast. We are in the middle of this history of Euro history series.
Chronicles, we have named it.
This series was started by DJ and TD, and for this episode, I have come in. I'm Gigi. I'm joined by TD today. In our previous episodes, you have already heard about the history of how Euro started, how the first Euro unfolded, and how it went on becoming a huge tournament until 1976. In this episode, we will mainly focus on the Euro of 1980 and 1984.
1980, the Euro came to Italy. 4 teams each in 2 groups, and the 2 top teams will qualify for the finals. So there is
no knockout.
No knockouts.
Only one final and no knockout.
Only one final.
And one third place match, right?
Yes, one third place match. So I don't know why they did that. This is a format change for the second time in Euro. Huge news before the tournament starts. A betting scandal hits Italy.
Now, this betting scandal actually rocked the tournament completely. It came into light due to the report of one restaurateur and one fruit seller who actually lost some money in betting and decided to report it to the authorities. And this resulted in this huge scandal, which we know as the Toto Nero or Black Toto scandal. AC Milan and Lazio, they actually got relegated to the Serie B.
Not for the first time.
Probably not. This was for the first time, but not for the last time.
Not for the last
because
time.
We know in 2005, once again, this kind of a scandal hit the Italian league. So 2 top teams, they got relegated, and also Paolo Rossi, one of the legendary figures in the 1978 World Cup, he was banned for 3 years. So this Italy's squad was also a very depleted squad. It was left with a lot of unknown players.
Yes, but this meant advantage to the already strong West German side. Now Helmut Schön, the legendary manager, he left. Job Derwell came into his place. Though a completely new squad from the Euro of 1976, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, we see his rise. He is a legendary player. He got 1 Ballon d'Or. Another player, Bernd Schuster.
Yes. Another legend.
He also won 2 Ballon d'Ors. Legendary goalkeeper Toni Schumacher, he made his debut. Hansi Müller, not to be confused with Gerd Müller. Gerd Müller, who retired many years back.
Star-studded squad.
Yes. So much so, the German side, the German Bundesliga was so strong in that year. In the UEFA Cup semi-finals, all the 4 teams were from Bundesliga. The 2 groups, in Group A, we see West Germany, Czechoslovakia, Netherlands and Greece. Their only appearance before they would go on to win the tournament in 2004. And in Group 2, we saw that Belgium, Italy, England and Spain, mouth-watering clashes all around the field.
So we have seen that in Group 1, you have West Germany, Czechoslovakia, Netherlands and Greece. Since it was happening in Italy and there was a betting scandal, naturally people, the supporters, they were not turning up in large numbers. So it is almost like the COVID times when people were not turning up to the stadium and matches were being played in empty stadiums. The calls of players, certain kinds of sounds that cannot be heard in television, we could hear those sounds on TV. Germany obviously was the favorites, but they started very slowly, but they beat Czechoslovakia in the first match, and it was a revenge for the 1976 final. Then we see Netherlands, who looked a little vulnerable in their opening game. They only won 1-0 against Greece. Now Greece, you must remember, would qualify for another Euro only in 2004. So Greece actually performed well in the first match, lost the match. Germany, in their next match, they actually faced Netherlands, and this time they made no mistakes. Bernd Schuster, he put in a masterclass. A 3-2 win for Germany, a hat-trick for Klaus Allofs. But all the show was stolen by Bernd Schuster. He was almost playing at 3 positions at the same time. So, and a blazing, dazzling performance by Bernd Schuster, showing his true mettle. 3-2, Netherlands scored a late penalty. So the scoreline looks very close, but it was not actually that close. The next encounter of Germany was against Greece, and this very hectic match against Netherlands took a toll on them. So they had a very lackluster goalless draw against Greece. So Greece actually took away a point from their first Euro campaign, which is a big thing. But this was enough for Germany to make them qualify for the final, because remember, only the top team would qualify. So Germany qualified for the finals from Group 1.
And in Group 2, actually, Group B, England was the hot favourites. They were in a major tournament after a 10 years absence. And they had a world-class team with almost all the players from the legendary Liverpool side of the 1980s, like the goalkeeper Ray Clemence, Phil Thompson, Ray Wilkins of Chelsea, Kevin Keegan, a Ballon d'Or winner himself, Emlyn Hughes, Alan Kennedy, Phil Neal, Trevor Francis of Nottingham Forest, who played under Brian Clough to go and win the UCL back-to-back.
Yes.
So this was a huge team. So they faced a Belgian side managed by a legendary manager himself, Guy Thys. And Guy Thys deployed for the first time in a major tournament a high line of offside trap. And this confused the English players, and they look a little confused, and the football they were playing was a disaster.
Very common now, but not so common back then.
No. Interestingly, the Italian side, the Italian locals in the field started supporting the Belgian side. And this led to a battle behind the goalpost of Ray Clemence. A riot broke out. Police had to intervene. Tear gas had to be thrown. A tear gas shell came and hit Ray Clemence. The game was stopped for many minutes, and eventually the game finished 1-1. Now the second match, again two heavyweight sides, Spain and Italy. Played at San Siro, the legendary stadium, but again football rioting, football hooliganism marred the show. Not many chances in the match between Spain and Italy. It finished 0-0. It meant that Belgian side, who drew against England, they got an advantage. It was the second match against Spain. Guys' tactics came into play once again. They beat a skillfully superior Spanish team 2-1. Now this means that the match between Italy and England in Group 2 will be the decider, because, as you said, only the top team will go to the final. Earlier instances of hooliganism meant that the police were at standby at all time. The game was about to take place in Turin. So the mayor of Turin came in and intervened and said that if some kind of mishap happens, I will not tolerate this, I will not entertain this, I will stop the game then and there. So nothing of that sort happens, but England failed to win their match. Italy wins 1-0. And Phil Neal, the legendary character from Liverpool, he won I think about 20 to 25 trophies for Liverpool, the most trophies for Liverpool in history. He had an horrible game, and the goal for Italy came from his side. So Italy won 1-0. And the last game between Italy and Belgium showed a masterclass. Italy, who played very defensively against England, Belgium made their taste their own medicine.
A draw was enough for Belgium.
Yes, a draw was enough for Belgium, and they cling on to their nil-nil scoreline. And Belgium, for the first time and probably the only time in a major tournament final, they qualified for the finals.
So we have a West Germany-Belgium final. Belgium was not built to qualify for the finals, but they've ended up in the final, and West Germany started as the favorites under the influence of Rummenigge, under the influence of Bernd Schuster. But we had a very unexpected hero for the finals, Horst Hrubesch. Now, Horst Hrubesch was a player who was extremely famous for only scoring headed goals. He was known as the header monster.
One trick pony.
He actually had this nickname of one trick pony. Everyone knew him as a person who could only score headers. Out of his 136 Bundesliga goals, 81 of them were scored from headers.
No, more than half.
Almost 65%. So this Horst Hrubesch was the target man. And we see in the first half itself, from a genius play of Schuster, suddenly Hrubesch found himself in front of the goal, and going against all odds, he actually hit the ball with his feet. He struck a volley, and the volley ended up in the back of the net, so he actually scored a volleyed goal in the final. But the second goal, and obviously you can understand after such a big team scoring early, they would have an advantage. But Belgium, they kept themselves in the game. Belgium found an equalizer. They converted a penalty in the 75th minute. But after this, there was a barrage of attacks, a wave of attacks created by West Germany. Rummenigge was going on overlaps again and again, and out of that, he actually won a corner. And then comes a very legendary story where Rummenigge, while going for that corner, he took up the ball, placed the ball, and before taking the corner, he looked towards the cameraman and said to him, focus on Horst Hrubesch. And the cameraman instinctively focused on Hrubesch, and the ball fell on his head. Hrubesch headed it, and it was a goal. So such
Genius.
An instinctive genius, he actually predicted what he would do. And we have seen these kinds of geniuses at their work. They know what they want to do. And we see this kind of confidence in them. So Rummenigge is showing that confidence. This becomes Horst Hrubesch's second goal. And with this, West Germany, the favorites of 1980 Euros, end up winning the 1980 European Championships.
Though Germany won the 1980 European Championships as a worthy winner, they were the best team in this Euro, but the 1980 Euro was considered as a failure, a financial failure, a footballing failure. Goalless, soulless matches took place, maybe because the decision of UEFA to scrap the knockout rounds in the mainstay. Because all the team no team wanted to lose.
Obviously.
So that put immense pressure on the organizer or on UEFA to make things right in 1984 Euro.
Yes.
And it was awarded to France. Not a popular destination for football.
But with this, we go into the next Euro, right? The 1984 Euro.
Yes. It was a make or break Euro for UEFA, and they did one thing right. They brought back the knockout rounds in the mainstay.
Yes.
They scrapped the third place playoffs. France, although as I was saying, not a popular destination of football, not many recognizable players in the club level, though their international team had they were a talented team. So UEFA went on with the French government to put a massive ad campaign to promote the tournament, and this seemed to work. Anyhow, the two groups look like this. In Group A, France, Denmark, Belgium and Yugoslavia. In Group 2, West Germany, Portugal, Romania and Spain.
Now, since you talk about France being awarded the Euro, from this Euro onwards, we will see individual Euros or particular Euros giving rise to global legends of world football, because they were already legends, but certain Euros would be assigned certain players, and this Euro would be Michel Platini's Euro. Michel Platini, the French legend, he had a scintillating display in the 1982 World Cup as well. He was already 28 years of age. He was at the peak of his powers. He already won 2 consecutive Ballon d'Ors. France were from the beginning, not only because of Platini, but also because of their very instinctive and very lethal midfield trio or quartet. They were favorites to win. Luis Fernandez was a part of their squad, who was actually known as the first central defensive midfielder, because he was the one who could snatch the ball and pass it forward. And we would see later that many such defensive midfielders would come. Also, like legendary goalkeeper Joel Batch, he was also there.
Finally, France got a goalkeeper.
Finally, France gets a very good goalkeeper. Also, talking of Luis Fernandez, he made a famous statement about Platini, that Platini never wanted to pass the ball. He wanted to finish his job. And this is true for many of the legendary players, especially in the age of Messi, Ronaldo, we see.
They feel the responsibility to win the game by themselves.
Yes. Now, coming to the games, the first game of France was against Denmark. It did not go to plan. Platini was completely marked out of the game, but Platini being Platini, he scored in the 75th minute of the match. He scored the solitary goal and France won 1-0. So a lackluster match, but Platini already giving a forecast of what is to come in the later matches, and that exactly happened in the second game against Belgium, who were the finalists of the previous Euro. France won 5-0 and Platini scored a hat-trick. And this hat-trick scoring form was taken forward by Platini in the next match. Next match against Yugoslavia, the scoreline is much more close, 3-2, but once again Platini scores another hat-trick. So 2 hat-tricks in 4
days.
And we know how hat-tricks are extremely rare in these kinds of world-class events. World Cup, European Championship, we do not see hat-tricks.
Only the legends.
Only the legends can do it. We will later see later legends also scoring hat-tricks. Mirroring the result of Denmark, we see result of Belgium, we see Denmark also scoring 2 wins. Scoring a 3-2 win against Belgium and also getting a 5-0 win earlier. So Denmark was mirroring in a way what France was doing. So France and Denmark, they go through to the second round.
In Group 2, there was West Germany, the previous time winners. They were still a strong team with Schumacher, Andre Breme, Rudi Völler, famous names. Also, they were joined by a young legendary player, Lothar Matthäus, though he was very young. This team was very good, that to say the least, but they lacked the skill of the previous generation players. And it proved in the opening match against Portugal, which they drew 0-0. This group also had Romania. Now Romania was once again marred by political controversies. Their controversial dictator Ceausescu, he had to face some trouble in his home nation, so much so that he instructed his players to put up in a hotel where there was no televisions. Because he thought that the free-spirited ideology of France, in the air of France, the concept of liberty, equality and fraternity might influence the players of Romania, and they might go back to their home and start some troubles. Anyhow, their game against Germany had an interesting story. Before the match, the West German team's bus driver, he lost his key for the before he could start the bus, and then he lost the way to the match, to the stadium. And the German side reached the stadium just before 2 or 3 minutes before the kickoff. But a young
Bus disaster.
Yes, a bus disaster. Not for the first time in this tournament. Not for the last time.
Not for the last time.
Yes, not for the last time in this tournament. A young Rudi Völler, he proved to be the eventual winners. Scored 2 goals to win 2-1 the game for Germany. On the other hand, in this group there was a derby between Portugal and Spain, an Iberian derby.
Yes.
But all the hype of this match proved to be a dud. It was a boring 1-1 draw. Romanian coach, interestingly, in the next match against Portugal, left the legendary mercurial player George Hagi in the bench. And Portugal knew that if they were to qualify for the semi-finals, they had to play aggressively and win the match, and they did so. They played an attacking brand of football, they played an aggressive brand of football, and they won the match 1-0. Okay. Now the last match between Germany and Spain, Germany started beautifully. Spain looked that they will bow out of the group in last stage, they will finish in the last spot. Germany created many chances, but Germany, unlike a German team,
there was no Hobers this time.
No
one to score a header.
yes. Unlike traditional German side, they missed many chances. And finally, what happens is Spain scores in the dying moments of the match to put the reigning champions out of this group.
So typical, right? This is so typical of a football match.
Yes.
This is why we love the game of football.
Yes. So huge upset for the first time that this big team like Germany bowing out from the group stage, and the semi-finals remains France versus Portugal and Denmark versus Spain.
If I talk about the first semi-finals, France versus Portugal, let me give you the result first. The score line 3-2. France won the match by 3-2. And any guesses who played a decisive role in this match?
Does his surname starts with P?
Absolutely, TD. No prizes for you guessing. No prizes for you either. Michel Platini once again comes in. If I tell you the story of the match, but before that, let me tell you about another bus incident. The French team actually had a bus accident coming into this match, and their famous midfielder, part of that midfield quartet, Tigana had a head injury coming into the match, and due to that bus accident. So anyways, the buses were not functioning too well. But this was an evenly...
Platini was.
Yes, Platini was out of everything. He was out of this world, and it started off as a very evenly contested game. So France took an early lead through a 35th minute free kick. And then Portugal, they were actually there in the match. They waited very patiently, and their patience paid off once again in that fateful 75th minute. And they equalized in the 75th minute. The game went into the extra time, and 8 minutes into the extra time, on the 98th minute, Portugal took the lead.
Okay.
Portugal scored once again, and they were winning 2-1. So France were about to bow out of the tournament. Now, cometh the hour, cometh the man. As the story goes, Michel Platini, he started playing a completely magical brand of football, and on the 113th minute and 119th minute, he scored twice. Twice in the second half of the extra time to take France to the finals, winning the match 3-2.
We see that time and time again, right?
Yes.
The big players come in,
turning up when it matters.
No such thing happened in the second semi-final between Spain and Denmark. Though there were many great players, it was a boring match to say the least. It finished 1-1. It went to extra time, and Spain won the penalty shootout 5-4. So France versus Spain final. What is going to happen?
Now, Spain, we know Spain as the modern day Spain as a extremely dynamic team. They play passing football. They play a beautiful brand of football. This Spain was nothing of that sort. It was not a skillful group. They came through scrapping through the matches, and they actually played a very rash brand of football. And that is also a brand of football. They wanted to kick the opponent out of the game. Literally kicking the opponent, not the ball. So Spain actually came to the final playing a very dirty brand. They were very nervous. It was a nervous start from both the teams.
Spain committed the most number of fouls in this tournament also.
So it tells you the entire story. And due to this close marking and very dirty brand of football, Platini was not getting the ball.
Camacho was a player from Spain.
Absolutely.
He was a very good player, very modern type of defensive midfielder. He marked Platini out of the game.
So Platini had to drop very deep, and when your main attacking player drops deep, all of us know that the team loses its strength there, and France could not score for a long time. But after the start of the second half, once again, in the 67th minute. This time I'll not ask you to guess because you will guess it right. On the 67th minute, France had a free kick. And in comes Platini.
Monsieur
Platini scoring a free kick in the final of the Euro. TD, we were talking how Platini would come in the top 5 of the best free kick takers as
of
well.
All time, yes.
Not only the outfield players, he was an excellent free kick, a dead ball player. Spain, as a result, obviously got very startled and they started committing more fouls, and as a result of this accumulative fouls, they received a red card after this. So this remains the first red card to be handed out in the final of the Euro Cup. So the 10-man Spain was no match for France, and France obviously took the game away in the 91st minute, once again scoring and in the process making the title their own, France becoming the European champions.
For the first time, France wins a major tournament, and it will be the last time that a host nation of a European Championship wins their title at the home ground. This tournament, 1984's France Euro, is considered to be one of the greatest Euros after the debacle of 1980.
This was a success.
Yes,
an outright success.
Huge success. Actually, it was a huge success financially also. It was a tough act to follow in the next Euro. It will be taking place at. We will come back to you.
Yes, we will come back with that detail. With this, we come to the end of this episode. It was all about these 2 Euros. In the next episode, we will talk about the 1988 and 1992 Euro. Thank you for joining us. Keep supporting us, like, comment and share our videos. All of our social media credentials or handles will be there in the description. Do follow us, do share this video as widely as you can. Until our next episode, stay wild.